Welcome to Parker's Post, everybody. Man, we're here on the 4th of July weekend. Of course, I got my man, Jeff today with me, like always. You know, the number one, the best bartender in the Tampa Bay area. That's what I say. I know he's not going to concur, but that's what I say. He's the number one bartender in the Tampa Bay area. People, we got a great show tonight. A hell of a show. Man, me and Jeff been talking crap all week, just talking, but we ain't, just just talking about some mess. But we gonna go down. It's a crazy subject, and we gonna go down and give y'all a couple crazy topics tonight. Yeah,
Definitely excited about tonight's show. I'm definitely excited. This is some of my favorite talk right here about sports.
Jeff, hold up for a minute. Before we get started on these topics, man,
Yeah,
how was your week?
it was good. It was good seeing everybody at the shop. We definitely cut it up on Tuesday. That was a
Okay,
fantastic afternoon. Tuesdays are becoming quite
okay,
popular.
okay, okay.
So
We not gonna give where you work no free promotion, but we gonna say this here. If you know where I hang out, that's where you work. Does that
there's a
sound right?
reason, folks. Yeah, there's a reason,
Okay,
folks. I promise you
okay.
that.
So, so before we get started, also, was there any sports moves as far as movement, trades, this week you want to talk about before I go ahead and break you down?
The only thing, the Miles Turner trade to Milwaukee was the only real significant trade that I saw. Them cutting Dame time and opening up for Miles Turner. But other than that, DeAndre Ayton's an interesting
Mm,
subject going to the Lakers.
mm,
This recent signing, it's only a 2-year deal, but if you can get the DeAndre Ayton that Chris Paul helped motivate, or Chris Paul helped motivate in the 2021 when they went to the
mm.
finals,
Interesting.
if you can get that DeAndre Ayton, the Lakers. I don't think they're any type of favorite in the West. I mean, with KD going to the Rockets, OKC is just beyond stacked. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So
Okay. So you're not going to talk about this right here?
what?
Game time.
Watch.
Man, you ain't going to talk about game
I,
time.
Look, Dame time. Like I said, I heard there's mutual interest that possibly he would even want to come to Orlando, right? Like I just coming off an Achilles, man. You see how long it takes these guys to get there, and he's the type of player that definitely needs a good, healthy Achilles. I mean, the dude moves around like very few guys do when he's at his level, right?
Okay.
When he's there, believe me, I still believe that at his prime, he was always in that top 5 conversation. Guys in the league at that point, you know what I mean, a few years ago. But
Well, I'm not
he
going to go
hasn't been that
left
to me.
tonight by you saying he was here. Your here is not my here. So,
I hear you.
so we're not going to go there tonight. But I would say
That's
this
fine.
here. If game time go to somebody for the playoffs next season, he ain't going to give them nothing. Because he ain't going to have enough time to put no work in. So that's all I got to say about the moves that been made. So do you think Bron gonna wind up staying with the Lakers, or you think he gonna move on?
The only thing that makes sense to me, if they can even pull that trade off, like I said, you'd have to give up. You know what I mean? One, he has to sit there and say, "Hey, I'm willing to go somewhere." Right? I mean, he's got the control here. So I'd sit there and say that if any place that I would even speculate is possibly going to New York and going and playing for Mike Brown one more
The
time.
New York media would eat him alive at the end of his career. Go back to Cleveland.
No, not no, not please,
Well,
no,
he gonna
don't
retire
go
in
to.
Cleveland anyway. And instead of him just doing a sign and retire, go there
No,
and
man,
play
like
last year.
Mitchell, they've got a good nucleus there. That's only going to wreck that team.
Yeah, they don't have Braun. They don't have Braun. They do not have Braun. Um,
Cleveland.
they don't have
Who would Who would Cleveland give up? They're not going to give up Mobley, Allen, or Mitchell. So I don't see how, you know what I mean? Because you're going to need some type of salary that's going to match that.
right, right. But I would say this here. This is one thing I'm going to tell you. This is one thing I'm going to tell you. I I would love for LeBron to go somewhere and end his career on a good note. On a good note. I don't know how you feel about that.
Good note. Well, good note as in like a finals appearance or an actual title. I mean, or is he just
No, to do a farewell tour. Dr. J did one, Mike did one, and I ain't got to say his last name, and we ain't talking about Michael Jackson either. And you know what Mike I'm talking about. You know exactly what Mike I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
So, we finna go ahead and talk about something real quick.
Okay.
Uh, uh, in all the years you've been watching the NBA, there have been a lot of free agents we have seen in the NBA. Free agents, undrafted free agents. Let me clear this up. Undrafted free agent. Can you give me 10 of your top undrafted
Oh,
free agents? Undrafted. Now, I ain't saying Dwayne Wade contract run up in Miami. He go to Chicago. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about undrafted.
I got you. All right. I'm gonna give you 10. One of them, Jeremy Lin, New York Knicks. I think he made a crazy impact in a very brief period of time. Very brief, but still a crazy impact. I'm gonna go with Brad Miller as well.
Okay.
I've got Avery Johnson on here. I've got the two-time champion now, Alex Caruso, on here. I've also got Mr. Former Spur, Bruce Bowen.
Okay.
I got J.J. Barea from the Dallas Mavericks during that run. I've also got Fred VanVleet.
Okay. I'm listening.
Yep. 3 more. John Starks, obviously. I think you got to put John Starks in there. Mr. Miami Heat himself, longtime Udonis Haslem. Hey, what's up, Mr. Welch?
Hey, now.
And then obviously my number 1 is still Ben Wallace. I'm going to stick to that.
Okay. Just hold on for a minute, man. Let me bring in Parker's Post fans. I got a special guest tonight, all the way from University of Illinois, Anthony Welch. He's my 6'10" wing player. He's my 6'10" wing player. He's not your 6'10" wing player. He's my 16 wing player. Big Ant, tell us a little something about yourself.
Quick and dirty. Played a little ball, little pro ball, little overseas ball, but also worked in front offices, coached and scouted, and had a service where I assisted young men to. I gotta get some glass. I can see my own stuff on the phone. There we go. Um, and had my own nonprofit for about 15 years, where I assisted young men and women into connecting with HBCUs to receive athletic scholarships.
Okay, so you pretty much saying you done did some everything when it comes to this game of basketball.
Pretty much anything you can do, except for be a pro coach.
So my question that I just asked Jeff, this wasn't you. Off the top of your head, and you got a big one. Give me
Yeah, right.
undrafted free agents. Man, just give me a few on the top of your head. That was pretty good.
Actually, it's hard to say because in my era, right before me, they had so many rounds. Wasn't too many undrafted people. So the ones I would think of, shoot, I really can't think of too many undrafted that was successful off the top of my head. Like, man, a Ben Wallace type. Don't know if he was drafted.
No.
Who else? Guys I know, well, they got drafted because I know little young guys in my area, they were late rounds that made it, like a Pete Myers made it in Chicago. Um, the kid I was with in Dallas, uh, Myron Jackson, he was drafted
Was
like
he any
fourth,
good?
fifth. They made the team.
Hey,
Don't make it good enough.
hold up.
They made the team.
Well, just put it this way here. Did they ever make Sports Center? That's all we ask.
No, they didn't get the
No, that's what we talk about. Hey,
I tell you, the funny thing is, when I
Yeah.
got drafted, I was at home in Michigan. Washington let me know.
right. But you know what though? You know, before Jeff get back into finishing his number, because you know he like to go left. You know he like to go left, don't you? You know he go left real quick. You know, you know he one of these guys. You know he's a Yahoo search engine guy. You know he don't use Google like we do. He old school Yahoo. You know he's a Jeremy Lin. You know he like a Jeremy Lin undrafted free agent. A J.J. Barrera.
Lynn.
Yeah, those are the type of players they like. You know, my number one undrafted free agent guy is the
Mike Miller didn't get drafted?
Who?
You say Mike Miller didn't get drafted?
No. Yeah, Mike Miller, but no, we ain't talking about him. The greatest
Brad Miller.
of all
Brad
time.
Miller. Brad Miller.
Brad Miller. I'm going to say Mike Miller didn't get drafted. I thought you got.
You
Brad
Dallas
Miller. I got Brad Miller
Hassel.
on here.
You Dallas Hassel. That's somebody who'll never get talked about. You know, he made more money riding the bench than anybody.
Yeah, Udonis. Absolutely Udonis.
Well, he making it extra because I thought he was going to go in the front office with Miami.
hey, you know, and I got another dude, John Starks.
See, back then I wasn't even paying attention who's in the draft. I was paying attention who's balling.
Exactly, and John Starks was balling.
Yeah.
You know,
Udonis ball. Yeah.
But you know what though? We can name a lot of guys, but there's only one that was undrafted. I think that put work in and got a chip. Fred VanVleet.
He was a free agent, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, you know, that's who I would say that really put work in, because we can say that we can talk about a Bruce Bowen, but he wasn't putting no big numbers up on the offensive end.
Mm-hmm. Fred VanVleet, he fit a niche at the time. Him and Lowry and all, they had little short guards that could really and could knock down the shots and get to their spots.
Yeah, because that was with Kawhi and yeah.
Don't say my boy Udonis wasn't doing no work, man. Udonis did a little work.
No, he did work. Man, have you ever raked leaves up? Have you ever raked leaves up? I'm just like, have you ever raked any leaves up?
Who? Me? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to rake.
Okay. But you know, you tell somebody to come hold the bag for you, that ain't like raking, is it? Hey man, I'm just saying. But I would tell you this though. Jeff will give you a list. You never even you know he gonna go the extra mile with what he got to say. Go ahead, Jeff.
What, with the free agent list, or they were going into the duos?
Man, take off where you wouldn't even finish yet. You got about 100.
Well, no, I mean, look, like I said, honorable mentions, Jose Calderon, right? I think he was crafty at what he did. Nobody talks about Calderon. Wesley Matthews is another one. You know,
Right. Who else?
other than that, like I said, I had Avery Johnson on here. I got I mentioned JJ Barea because he also has a chip, but because he did put in work in Dallas. People forget.
No, I heard that. But I heard
He
you
was doing
mention Brad Miller name about 5 times.
Well, was he not a consistent player out there? Did he not put in on both ends of the court? He was a two-way player. He was a two-way player. He was a defensive gnat, as I
all I
call him.
remember is that Shaq. All I remember, Shaq tried to start a hurricane wind trying to hit Brad Miller. That's all I remember. Look, Shaq
I'm just saying,
swung
man.
so hard.
Brad Miller.
Brad Miller was shooting that little jump shot a little while ago. He had a good 18-footer.
For who? Cleveland?
He played a little bit. Wasn't he? Hold on. Wasn't Brad in Houston too?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, he was known for being a little rugged guy, being a solid inside man. But he had that role because he could always open up the space in the middle because he had a jump shot 15 to 18 feet. And he did a lot of that hanging on the edge to free up space. So he had a good role. Generally, what you'll see is with them guys, they fit a niche and they thrive in their responsibility. And generally, those guys are pop and play type of guys because everybody needs that hardworking guy. I don't have an ego. I'm hungry, and I'm gonna fit in with anybody's team. So you see them guys, that's why they have longevity in their career.
Well,
I know it's too early to
what
tell, but
y'all think
Austin
about
Reeves,
Jeremy
I think
Lin?
Austin Reeves will be in this debate here in 5 or 6 years at the rate that he plays.
Yeah, he one
Like
of
I
the guys.
said, there was a term in.
I
Go ahead.
hope he don't overplay his hand too much, but everybody, he denied his extension, so he's trying to get paid somewhere. Hopefully, pushing the Lakers to give him more money. But he's like I said, he thrived in his role. He had an opportunity because there was an opening when they were lacking in the roster, and when he came in and had his shot, they needed some buckets. They needed somebody that's an unknown, and he took advantage of nobody having a scouting report on him, like a Jeremy Lin. Now, when they start game planning for you big time,
Mm.
are you gonna be still there or disappear like Jeremy Lin?
I love you said scouting report. Man, I just had a conversation with this gentleman about scouting report. Scouting reports are very different between year 1 and year 2. Year
A
2
big time.
is out there.
Yeah, yeah. For him, because you're gonna get that money, and you're gonna have a lot of guys like I said with Jeremy Lin. Jeremy Lin's greatest asset was his agent.
You know,
He played, he shined, he got hurt. The agent said, "Don't ever get back on the court again." And he had that 1 year, and he booked that money and went to Houston. And then the scouting report came out, and the jealousy and envy of how did you get paid? They came at his head. Now, if Austin Reeves gets this big contract, they're gonna come at his head because a lot of brothers you watching the kicker that has a better game to me. So come at his head and see are you really worth this money they gave you.
well,
So he better be prepared for that when he get that contract because he all good while he ain't making no money. He upstart. Oh, he good. Right? They'll come at him now. You got paid more than me. What? And they're gonna come at him. I
mm,
hope that he can withstand the heat.
well, let me change the subject real
What
quick.
about Deladova? Oh, I forgot. What about Deladova? He wasn't drafted.
Oh, Deladova. Yeah. Okay.
That's what
Deladova.
happened to him.
Matthew Deladova. Yeah, Matthew
Well, we don't need to
Deladova.
know his
Yeah.
first name.
Okay.
We know his last name.
He can read. He came in and thrived, got that contract, You ain't heard from him since.
No, he disappeared.
That go back to the point of what you just said.
That's that scouting report.
Yeah, that goes
You
back
got
to the
paid
point.
what? You don't need this job. And they came at him and exposed him, and now he ain't even in the league. But he still got that league big contract that he had, that one big one.
You,
And that's all it takes. Get paid.
you know, let me ask y'all this. You know, this came across the wire yesterday. Summer League is right around the corner. Do y'all think this matchup, Cooper Flag and Bronny James, that's supposed to be the first
That ain't
Summer
no
League matchup?
matchup. That ain't no matchup.
Jim, what today?
They ain't
Thank you. That is that.
Hold on a minute. Well, that's what no, that's what you guys say, not what I say. Man, that's a matchup for the TV rights. That's a
You
matchup for the
talking about?
TV rights.
Well, Ronnie's don't already pass that. So now Cooper Flag is hot. Cooper Flag is who he is. So from the past,
Hey man,
done. That's over.
hey,
His flame through social media and hype go.
so let me ask
To
y'all
me,
this here. But
Ronnie gonna have to really, really, really do some work. He'd have to step up and even be an Austin Reed. He ain't that.
boy, you going left with this one, man. You going left with this. He said
We
he
Even
was
talking.
at
oh,
I can't sidebar the conversation. I don't know where you was going with it, but Ronnie ain't nobody's
right.
matchup with. You better match up with Austin Reed to try to get a job, get some money.
he's undersized. He can't shoot. Like he doesn't have a great handle. He's an okay defender for his frame, but other than that, he ain't got shit.
So let me ask y'all this here.
No,
Hold
Bronny.
on. I'm actually
Going with the matchup.
well, let me ask you this here. But don't you think that would be a great kickoff to the summer for basketball?
Him and him,
Yes.
Reed and I mean not Reed, Ronnie and Cooper Flag.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's a good social media beat.
Yeah, that's all we're looking for. You know, we're looking for entertainment. No,
Oh yeah, with nothing
no, it's
going
not
on
a
in the
great
summer, yeah,
matchup.
that's going
It's
to be
not
the
even.
best.
It's not even a matchup. But I would ask y'all this here: if the daddy lead the Lakers, and I know that's a hard one to make happen, do you think the Suns still going to be on the G League team?
Like this. Bloodsport did a great job with leverage from his daddy to get him a contract to have these 3 years
Right.
to try to make something happen in his growth and development and prove that he could be a serviceable NBA player. So he'll still be there till that contract run out.
But he ain't coming up no more.
That's on his development. He gonna have to come out in the summer league if he's playing it and look like he the best thing ever touched the ball in order to start really solidifying that he deserved to be there. Other than that, you got to break a lot of people didn't get because your father had a lot of leverage.
Mm,
Because other than that, he wouldn't have made no teams that I was trying out for. Not in guard.
mm. What do you think, Jeff?
Well, like Anthony's saying, I completely agree to where it's he's got a chance, but his development is slow at best. Like he would have to average 20, at least 20, right, in the summer league to be talked about as being, like you said, a serviceable NBA player. I don't ever think he'll be a starter on any team ever, but maybe a solid 10 to 15-minute role player coming off the bench in certain aspects if he can develop his shot. If he cannot develop his shot, no chance.
It ain't gonna happen.
Well, here's the thing. I'm never going to discount his development. I don't know what he's playing like because I'll never see him on the court. So, unless you follow his G League games, how do you know how he can play? We don't know.
Exactly.
We see him come in the game in different situations, make a couple shots, miss a couple shots, turnover, maybe get a little out the game. So we don't know how good he may be.
Mm.
Because I'll say this. Everybody on that bench is a pro. Put them in a summer league. There's regular brothers out here, pro-ams. They'll juice them,
They hungry
but
too.
they don't more than some other people. For him, this summer league has to show where he was at the last year to this year. Then we'll see his growth. I can't discount him right now because I ain't seen him on the floor.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna
And plus,
speak for the both of y'all and say y'all
I'll
need to
say
say
this
this.
real quick. Him just being a serviceable pro is great. Expectations because his daddy's last name is making him thought he's supposed to be better. No. Him being a good serviceable pro, he'll be like a lot of people. And you get a long career, perfect. Not asking you to be on the all-star team. Just make the team.
What?
Yeah, All Stars, definitely not in
He
his
ain't never
profile.
been. Let's say,
No.
let's the magic stuff jump on him. He got some pixie dust out there in California that's gonna make him better. No, I can't see that. I put it this way: we're talking about his ceiling. His
Right.
ceiling is a serviceable role player, and that I
Right.
think that's what Daddy knew to get in the league. And I understand why his daddy got in the league that people might not talk about. His son almost died in college. Son, we got to skip this college thing. Let's get you to your dream. I'm gonna help you. I did that for my son too. Now it's on you. I gave you enough time to grow, because since you're not in college, I got to make sure you got this contract for 3 years. You're not a G League guy. That ain't in your contract. You got a chance. So now we're gonna see what year 1 to year 2 turns into be.
Well, let me ask y'all this here though. Doesn't his daddy put $1 million in his body every season? Every year.
Well, a lot of people work out kings and ain't nothing.
Okay. But don't you think the son getting the same work? That's all I'm saying.
That's great. That don't mean he can take that, transfer that to the court.
That's my point.
But we don't know that because he ain't been on the court.
Well, we do know one thing. We do know this here. Last season, he played in the G League, then he came up and played a couple games in the league. He did not make the.
He played in a couple games, but he was on that bench.
Look,
You know his contract, we didn't travel. He didn't go on the road with the G League.
but this is what I'm
He
saying.
only
He did not even make the All-Star team for the G League. See,
can't. You got to play in the G League to be able to be All-Star in the G League.
so if he don't play there, then he don't play in the big league. When he gonna play?
He's not.
No. Great way to try to manipulate those words, but he's a pro on a roster with the Lakers with a 3-year contract that says he don't have to play in the G League. So he's like a lot of rookies who don't play at the end of that bench. Summer League from year 1 to year 2 gonna dictate where their career path goes. So we ain't seen him play either. He wasn't trying to play in the G League because his contract didn't have to make him. He didn't play in the Lakers because you got a guy like Austin Reeves who getting the shine, who thrive in the same way you should have. Get an opening, you better try to make something happen. We're gonna see. Because they got openings, and Reeves might not even be there. Now you really got an opening.
Right.
What you gonna do, son? You got a chance. Then this summer league gonna make a big difference.
Well,
Because he may come out there. He may start with Johnson.
So let me ask you guys something. Before I get to this this next question, man, I need to ask you something. When both of you guys growing up, what was y'all childhood NBA team?
Pistons.
Oh, mine was the Orlando Magic, because that's literally when that was one of my first memories. I was 5, 6 years old when they opened up,
So
it was the Magic for me.
So my next question. See, the reason why I say this, because I know a lot of people love to talk about they favorite guys on their favorite team. So just the twist I'm putting in this next question. NBA top duo players to not win a ring. Top NBA duos did not win a ring.
Top dudes that didn't win a ring.
Yes, duo.
And you know, going historically or just current
Over
any
over any period of time.
shoot, anybody who didn't win a championship. uh, they were starting. They was decent. They got to the you got Karl Malone and Josh.
I mean
But
the
but that's a hell of a start
stock.
right
I
there.
mean that's
That's a hell of a
number
start.
one. That's
one in everybody's book. Dude, you look at them.
Gary Payton and Sean Kemp. They were, those were some high flyers.
Okay.
Well, Kemp was,
Okay.
but they
What
never
about
won.
Shaq and Penny?
Shaq
That's
and Penny.
I don't want. I hate saying that. Yeah, that just hurts.
That's like number two. But then you got people like Rod Strickland and whoever he was matched up with in Portland.
Yeah.
Rod was a consummate 20 and 10 guy.
Right.
Can't make the All-Star team because you got Stockton, Magic, and Gary Payton. You ain't making the All-Star team.
Right.
But 20 and 10 guy. So he was up there with Rasheed Wallace. He ain't getting. He was with Cliff Robinson and John Kersey. He was on the end of them. He ain't getting no ring. Who else?
Another Orlando duo made the finals. It was Jameer Nelson and Dwight Howard. That was a duo here. That was a 1-2 punch.
Yes.
Turkoglu was here with that. Turkoglu was here with Rashad Lewis too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Man, you notice how people love them
What about Starks and
off their favorite team?
Well,
Starks and Ewing.
Pat Ewing and new name all the guards he was with. Pat Ewing and
Starks.
Mark Jackson, Pat Ewing and Derek Harper, Pat Ewing and Greg Anthony, Pat Ewing and who you get the name Starks. You name it. They didn't win one. The Indiana squad: Reggie Miller. He didn't win nothing. Mark Jackson, Reggie Miller, and Travis Best. Reggie Miller and the Davis twins, and you can whoever he was matched up with.
I noticed y'all done said Mark Jackson name about 20 times.
He wasn't them compliment pros, baby.
Hey, he wasn't the blessed pros. They couldn't win the deal. Chris Paul.
He won one. Who was he matched? Who was he with back in the early days in New Orleans? In OKC. He didn't win one. So you could name his counterpart with him, who he was giving the ball to. But
what about Kevin Johnson, Charles Barkley?
Yeah.
I got him on here on I got him on here.
Let me tell y'all this here. A lot of people forget how good KJ was.
Man, KJ was ball.
What about Nash? What about Nash and Stoudemire?
Who?
Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire when they were together on Phoenix. What about?
Oh yeah, Nash. Yeah.
Nash. Man, there've been so many. Kevin Durant,
Russell Westbrook. Yep.
Yeah. You can do the whole trio. Him and James Harden, all three of them. They're the three-headed monster.
Yeah, but we're gonna name that one later because they lost with the Nets.
They lost a couple. Like Kyrie lost with the Nets, but even though he's hurt, he's still on the team. He carried him to the playoff.
Right. It's just a lot of these guys, man. We can sit here and name a lot of players, but there only been a few winners.
Yeah, so you can go down the All-Star list, and everybody who didn't get a chip, whoever they played with.
Yeah, that's true. So now this is what I want to ask is that we got football season getting ready to come up. Training camp be here less than 30 days. Now we know Jeff is a Buccaneer fan. Now we know you lived in Chicago the majority of your life. Well,
Yeah.
are you a bear or are you a lion?
I'm actually not either. You got to go back when TV only had three states, and the only teams that was on was Dallas, Pittsburgh, and people like that. So everybody was a Dallas Cowboy fan. Growing up, I was a Dallas Cowboy fan. I followed a couple guys on Detroit, but like Billy Sims and them
Man,
type.
what you know about Billy Sims, man?
Yeah, I watched Billy Sims, baby. He was balling. Dude, you get him. I go back to you don't even know this guy. You don't even know who Mel Farr is. Mel
Man,
Farr
for
was
a
my guy.
receiver.
No, he was defensive back. You get him. They had y'all don't even remember who the quarterbacks were back then. Charlie Batch.
Oh, you talking about for the
Oh
Lions?
God, Charlie Batch.
Charlie Batch. Yeah. Dan Orlovsky.
God,
No.
Now that's a good one right there.
Dan
A lot of
Orlovsky.
people don't
Yeah.
even know he played.
But yeah, but
Are you
back
kidding me?
then,
He's the one that
you
ran
know,
out of the end zone.
you, what'd you say?
I said a lot of people don't even know he played.
Who, Orlovsky?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Because his television career way better than his football career.
Well, he probably was a good practice player.
But you need them. They play an important role.
Right, 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 right,
Me ready just play. I'll give you a watch when the end of the season happens.
right, 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 right. So you was a Dallas Cowboy fan from
Oh
what,
yeah, big
about
time.
72, 76?
Calvin Hill and Golden Richards and Hollywood Henderson. Them type of shit. Tony Dorsett, I was a fan with Staubach was there. I was watching Staubach go against Fran Tarkenton, them type guys.
I watched, you done show us some pictures of you playing football back in the days, back in the early 70s.
Yep.
I never told you this, but you look at you like Robert Newhouse.
I wish I played like Robert Newhouse. I'd have had some pro football money. I played too dirty. We had a coach that taught us dirty tricks, so I couldn't have played. If I'd had any size when I got tall, I'd have been Deacon Jones or somebody. I'd have been slapping people across the head and
Oh my! You was a hand
big
slapper.
bucket, punching them in the neck and all kind of. I couldn't have played no football. I played too dirty.
So Jeff, what you think, man? With your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, what is one of your greatest moments of watching the
Oh,
Buccaneers?
my first. Well, the first one was when Rondé Barber. Like this was like when he had picked that pick six. Look, man, I grew up with Testaverde and Dilfer and the worst of the worst of the worst. Okay, like one of my favorites growing up was actually Mark Carrier. Right, he was one of the only ones from a wide receiver standpoint that actually went out there and played better than what he was because we had nothing else, and I mean nothing else. Just beyond atrocious on both sides of the ball. Like, so until Dungy came in and started to bring the pieces together, you know what I mean? But people forget, like, Dungy didn't draft Sapp and Brooks. That was actually Sam White, you know what I mean? Like, people, it's just kind of crazy how that run happened for us
Why
because
you got to bring that
Dungy
point
was
up?
the catalyst to
Why you got to
creating
bring
that
that up, man?
defense.
We love our black coaches, man. Man, why you got to bring that up, man?
Yeah,
I,
they
just facts are
Tony
facts
Dungy.
are facts. He didn't draft them. He didn't draft them, but he made them helped make them what they were from a coaching perspective. He did.
You
You know what I
sound
mean?
just like a
So yeah, no.
Homer fan. You sound just like one of the Homer fan. So, my last question for tonight, guys. Jeff, we know you almost become a professional golfer. So tell
Long
me,
time ago.
if you played football, give me somebody you think your game would have been like.
Oh, I did play football, and I'll give you this. It was nothing else more than a kicker. Okay, so I was about as good as Martin Gramatica, baby. All right, that's where my game is.
But don't you
Martin,
ever say you
Martin.
was a kicker, man. You should have said Ray Guy, somebody like that.
No, hey Bobby,
Uh,
he'd have been like Dan Orlovsky. He been good.
Yeah, man. I'm no. Yeah, I'm
Woo.
definitely no Dan
Hey, man.
Orlovsky, folks. You know, like Brian
Hey, man, you
Scalabrine
should have
said, I'm a
said a
lot
player,
closer to
not a
LeBron
kicker.
than y'all are to me. You know what I mean?
Hey, man.
Hey,
Hey, kickers get the job done. You know what I mean? They win the championships, baby.
you get on championship team. That's the whole
You
role.
ask Tom Brady.
Go ahead.
We don't talk about Tom
You
Brady on
ask
this channel.
Tom Brady what he
We don't talk about
hold
Tom
on,
Brady on this channel.
about what he thinks about Adam Vinatieri.
No, we don't talk about Tom Brady on this channel.
Okay, got it.
You think
No Brady on this channel.
you don't like
I love me some Tom
I get
Brady,
it.
man, but we don't talk about Tom Brady.
Okay, no problem.
about? I can't even remember who all was on Tampa Bay's team other than the defensive guy when they won their chip when Gruden stole the championship from Tony Dungy.
No, remember Keyshawn Johnson was here. Joe Jurevicius was our two receivers with
Oh,
Brad
yeah.
Johnson throwing 8 terrible footballs to him.
I remember Keyshawn just getting mad. Saying he
Michael
got
Pittman, Arizona State. Yeah, Keyshawn is not liked here. I can tell you that.
Well, I love Keyshawn.
Keyshawn said, "Just give me the ball."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Welch, tell me something.
Yeah.
With your 6'10" frame,
Mhm.
if you would have wound up playing football, who you think you would have been?
Actually, when I was playing football, that was my first love. Football was because I played in the dirt hot lot where houses got torn down every day. That was our neighborhood, which was cool because we had a community center. We played ball, we played football. Everybody loved football and grew up playing football. I played wide receiver, so I was pretty long and quick and loved to catch, and I wasn't scared to get hit because I was getting tackled in the dirt. So me, um, I'd have been Randy Moss. Huh?
Mm, mm,
Yeah, I'd have been Randy Moss.
mm. Interesting. You know, I look
That's what
at
I feel.
you know, I'm glad both of y'all said that. I'm glad you said receiver, but you got the wrong receiver. You was more of
No,
a
I don't.
Harold. No, you was more of a Harold Carmichael.
Nope.
Okay.
Randy Moss.
Harold Carmichael, 6'9".
Nope. Nah. I like Harold Carmichael too.
I know you did.
He was a tight end.
No, he was a receiver. 17.
He wasn't a tight
No, receiver. He played on one
end.
side and
Huge hands, big as the ball.
yeah, he played on one side and Wesley Welker played on the other. I mean
Hmm.
Wesley Walker.
Yeah, I remember Michael Carmichael.
And Jeff,
But I
you
didn't like
said some names. Jeff, you
my
said some names. Man, you know what you look like you would have been?
He looked like Justin Tucker.
No, you know Brantley.
That's what I'm saying. Kicker
No,
all day, baby.
Brantley.
Kicker all day.
No,
Justin Tucker.
Brantley.
Hey,
Scott Brantley.
What?
Scott Brantley. Scott Brantley. Scott
man, he's giving you a
Brantley.
name. You tell him, no, you was John Stenerud. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Scott Brantley. He know who Scott Brantley is. He's a die-hard Buccaneer. He know exactly who Scott Brantley is.
Yeah. Hey man, you know, if you want to throw Ian Beckles in there, honorable mention. You know what I
He's
mean?
black.
Throw my boy
He's
Ian.
black.
Hey, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I understand that.
I'd have been in the league.
But hey,
Not me. Not me.
but you know what
Call
though?
me
My best kick of my life was I made a 42 yarder. I made a 42 yarder in high school.
In the backyard.
scholarship.
No,
One kick. Boom.
yeah.
You
What
first
for?
thing kicking.
Because I used to play soccer. I was a competitive goalie growing up, so I learned how to kick a soccer ball well before I ever
Jeff,
kicked a
I'd have
football.
seen you walk
That,
many a times. You flat footed.
Oh my goodness.
yeah, so use my toe.
Hey Jeff, there ain't no flat foot athletes, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're called golfers.
Golfing with shin splints.
Now here's a good question. Are golfers athletes? These days they working out and trying to stay in shape. Before,
It has become an athlete's game. In my era, when I grew up, no, it was about ball striking, precision, you know, more about rhythm and timing. Tiger Woods literally changed the game forever. It will never be played the same. Like, the greatest to me is Jack, but Tiger is definitely the second greatest for multiple reasons, because you wouldn't have courses altered the way they are and set up now without the Tiger Woods effect. Like,
yeah.
literally, you have the most prestigious golf course known in the world in the Masters that literally changed multiple holes because he was dominating so much,
Yeah.
I love you
Try to
saying
Tiger.
you
Tiger.
know.
Well,
Hey, I love him saying.
everybody cut up. Shoulder, slim waist, fitting their tight pants good. Before you could be John Daly out there, smoke a cigarette and have a drink, and as long as you hit that ball and put it in the hole, you good. Happy Gilmore.
Oh,
But
people don't realize John Daly was drunk out on the course most of the time,
All the
like
time.
playing drunk.
you know what though?
Yeah.
We only seen one athlete on the golf course. You right here naming all these darn different names. There only been one, and that's
Who?
Tiger Woods.
Look, man, you train with the SEALs. Yeah, I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care what your background
Man,
is.
ain't
You bad.
nobody ever
You're
been
bad.
315 except for Tiger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for his frame, like he outproduced what his frame was. It's insane. Like, when I mean he literally changed the
Hold
game
on,
forever,
change
the
that up.
golf
He
is
didn't
just will never
outproduce.
be
Man, you
played
better find some
with
better literature.
the
And
touch
you
and
talking about
precision
the
it
great
was with
Tiger
Jack
Woods.
Harney. You know, he was a power guy. Nobody. That's what I'm saying. Like, his touch. If you go back and look at his stats, they're great. They are elite. Don't get me wrong. But there's also plenty of tape of Tiger missing 3-foot putts all day. Okay, I'm just, it was different.
Jeff, I'm going to
Yeah.
give you one warning. You say something else negative about Tiger one more time, I'm going to, hey, because I'm going to take you off the screen.
All them
Okay,
highlights, they got scrubbed off the internet. You don't even know what they look like.
Exactly.
right.
Exactly. But guys, let me tell y'all, man, I appreciate y'all taking the time out for the 4th of July weekend. I know you guys got plans this weekend, and appreciate y'all coming on the show.
No problem, baby.
Always a pleasure.
Jeff.
Next time, talk about something I know. I don't know nothing about this. I can just talk smack about the other stuff. Because my favorite was Lee Trevino.
Lee Trevino, yeah,
Guys,
one
let
of
me
my
tell y'all this
favorites.
here. This is one of my
Chichi
old things I used to
Rodriguez,
say.
baby. Chichi.
This one thing
Oh,
I
yeah.
used to tell y'all. It's one of my favorite sayings. Stay strong. Stay smoking. But best of all, smoke what you like.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.